All right, today we're going to dive into something that's, well, a game changer for anyone building a product. It's this idea of shifting away from just, building more stuff to actually building the right stuff. We're talking about making things that people genuinely want and will love using. It's all about breaking that frustrating cycle so many of us get stuck in. So let's jump right in.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll talk about a really common pitfall called the output trap. Then we'll flip the script and introduce a whole new mindset, this idea of continuous discovery. From there, we'll get practical. What are the actual habits you need? We'll also talk about the real-world hurdles and how to jump over them. And finally, we'll look at the big payoff, why this whole customer-focused thing is so worth it.
Okay, so let's get into our first section, the output trap. And listen, this is a huge one. It's this sneaky trap that so many smart, hardworking teams fall into, where you're super busy, but you're not actually making a difference.
I mean, come on, let's just be real for a second. This question, it's the thing that keeps product people up at night, right? You pour months, maybe even years of your life into something. You build it, you polish it, you launch it, and then nothing, just crickets. It is just a soul-crushing, expensive mistake. And you know what? It happens way more often than anyone wants to admit.
And if you want to see what happens when this goes wrong on a massive scale, just look at the cautionary tale of Wells Fargo. They got so completely obsessed with one internal metric, just opening more and more accounts, that they completely lost sight of their actual customers. They ignored what people needed, they ignored consent, and the result was an absolute disaster, a huge scandal. It's such a stark reminder of what's at stake when you chase internal goals instead of creating real customer value.
So the big question is, how do we stay out of that trap? Well, it all starts with changing how we think about success. On one hand, you've got outputs. Think of this as all the stuff we do, shipping features, writing code, just being busy. The question we're asking is, are we building it efficiently? But then you have the other side, outcomes. This is about the value we create. It's about actually changing how a customer behaves in a way that helps the business. And here, the question is so much more powerful. Are we building the right thing?
Okay, so if getting stuck on outputs is the big problem, then what's the answer? It really comes down to a total shift in mindset. And that new mindset is all about continuous discovery.
So what exactly is continuous discovery? Well, here's the key. It is not that big research project you do once at the start of something. Nope, it's a habit. It's an ongoing process where the whole team, and I mean everyone, product, design, engineering, is doing small research activities every single week. The whole point is to build this deep, shared understanding of who your customers are, so that knowledge fuels every single decision you make.
And this quote from Teresa Torres, who literally wrote the book on this stuff, just hits the nail on the head. She says, an outcome is a change in human behavior that drives business results. That's it. That's the whole game. We're not just building features, we're trying to change what people do. Maybe they engage more, or they stop leaving, or they start using that new thing you built because it actually helps them. And when that happens, the business results follow.
Okay, that all sounds great, but how do you actually keep track of it all, right? How do you connect that big, lofty outcome to the day-to-day work? Well, there's a beautifully simple but incredibly powerful tool for that. It's called the Opportunity Solution Tree. And here it is. Seriously, this thing is a game changer. Let's just walk through it real quick. So at the very top, you've got your desired outcome. That's your big goal, right? Maybe it's increase user engagement. Okay, great. Branching off of that, you have opportunities. These are the customer problems or needs you've found, like, users seem to be struggling to find content. Then, from those opportunities, you brainstorm solutions. These are your actual ideas, your features, like, what if we built a recommendation engine? And this is the critical part. For every solution, you list out your assumptions. What has to be true for this to work? Like, we assume users will actually trust our recommendations. See how that works? It's a map that connects everything you do back to the why.
All right, that all sounds great in theory, doesn't it? But how do you actually make it happen? That's what this next part is all about, the nitty-gritty, the actual habits you can build to bring all this to life.
And it really all starts here. Think of continuous interviewing as the fuel for this entire engine. If you aren't talking to your customers on a regular basis, let's face it, you're just guessing. And we're not talking about some huge, formal 6-month research project. We're talking about making it a simple weekly ritual. So how do you actually make this work without it becoming this giant chore? A few key things. First, you've got to automate how you find people to talk to. You need a steady stream of customers ready to chat. Second, when you're talking to them, focus on their past experiences. Don't ask, would you use this? Ask, Tell me about the last time you did that. It's way more reliable. And last, and this is crucial, capture what you learned right away. Don't wait. Create a quick interview snapshot so those insights don't just disappear. Okay, another really important habit is experience mapping. Basically, this is where you visually lay out what your customer is actually going through. It's an amazing way to spot those hidden pain points and needs, things you might not even hear in an interview. And hey, remember that opportunity solution tree? Well, the opportunities you discover here, that's what you're going to plug right into that tree. It's how you connect the dots from research straight to strategy. And there's a right way to do this. Don't just get in a room and shout ideas. Have everyone on the team draw their own map first. You'll get so many different perspectives that way. Then, bring those together to build one shared map that everyone's aligned on. And please, don't just stick it in a drawer when you're done. Treat it like a living, breathing thing that you update as you learn more.
All right, now let's talk about the real world. Because adopting new habits is tough, right? There are always going to be roadblocks, always going to be excuses that pop up. So let's tackle them head on. How do we actually make this stuff a reality? I bet some of these sound pretty familiar, right? We just don't have enough time. That's the classic. Or we have way too many competing priorities. And look, these aren't just lame excuses. In the heat of the moment, they feel incredibly real. But you know what they really are? They're symptoms. They're signs that you're still stuck in that output trap, just running on a treadmill of assumptions.
So what's the secret to breaking through all that? It's actually ridiculously simple. Start small. Iterate from there. That's it. You don't need to reinvent your entire company overnight. You don't need some perfect, massive plan. Just do one interview this week. Test one tiny assumption. Just start. The momentum will build on its own, I promise.
And check this out. The team at UsersNap is a perfect example of this in action. They were totally caught in what they called the feature factory, just shipping one small thing after another based on requests, but they weren't actually solving the big underlying problems. So they decided to start small. They just took the feedback they already had and started digging into it, asking why over and over again. And that simple shift helped them connect the dots and finally build something that got to the heart of their customers' real problems.
Okay, so we've talked about the problem, the new mindset, and the habits to get you there. But let's get to the bottom line. Why bother with all of this? What's the big payoff? Why does this customer-centric stuff really, truly matter? When you really boil it down, it comes down to this quote. It's about the impact you have. It's about solving real problems for actual human beings. You know, we're not just here to ship code and hit metrics. We're here to make someone's life just a little bit easier, or a tiny bit better. Every problem you solve, every frustration you remove, it all adds up into something truly meaningful.
And look, this isn't just some feel-good philosophy. It's fundamentally a better way to build a business. It's simple. When you consistently solve your customers' problems and deliver real value, they stick around. They become loyal. It creates this amazing upward spiral, where your success is completely tied to their success. You win when they win.
So to wrap this all up, I want to leave you with one simple challenge. Don't worry about changing everything tomorrow. Just ask yourself this one question. What is one single assumption, just one, that you're making about your customers right now that you could go out and test this week? Just start there. Start small. You'll be amazed at where that one small step can take you.